How's it going, everybody? My name is Joel Derge. I'm the former head coach at Tippecanoe High School, and then currently now an assistant coach, working along with some guys that I coached with in the past, and really look forward to getting to know them and working with them in this next and upcoming season. First, I want to start off by saying I hope everybody's staying safe out there. They're spending more time with their family, and we really think of the situation that we're going through right now as a positive. As coaches, we always talk about, mindset with our players, having a growth mindset versus a fixed mindset. I think as coaches, it's important to hear that everybody's going through some difficult times right now, but we can really think of this as a positive. To do these types of clinics with each other is certainly a positive, and I think coaching fraternity has really gotten well together through these Zoom sessions. I want to say thanks to Coach Bandstra. I can tell you a story about him 18 months ago. He gave me a phone call when I was the head coach, and we didn't talk X's and O's, but we talked for over 90 minutes or so, and we just talked culture, and he's always willing to learn. He's using this YouTube channel to enhance coaching, and I really appreciate him reaching out to me to do this clinic with you guys today. I want to say thanks to a few coaches, because I often don't get to thank the people that have helped me along the way. Coach Hale was my high school head coach. He taught me a lot about organization and preparation, and what I'm going to talk about today, and how to game plan and structure your practices to meet the needs of your team, and so you can call plays effectively on a Friday night. He taught me a lot about the wing tee offense that I ran at Tippecanoe, and I really appreciate everything he did for me. I was previously at Green in high school, where Coach Jewell, Wooten, and Finch hired me when I was 18 and a half years old as an assistant coach. They had a lot of faith in me to do that, and I really appreciate them giving me an opportunity to coach at the high school level. And then Charlie Burbacher hired me when I was 22 as a defense coordinator at Tippecanoe, and had a lot of faith in me as a young coach to coordinate a defense for him, and then switching over doing the offense the next year. He put me in a lot of good situations to grow as a coach. One thing I want to say is that a lot of people know me as a wing tee coach, as someone that runs the jet sweep a lot and things like that. I want to just come forward straight and say that I'm really not a wing tee coach. I'm just a football coach. I've ran the spread offense. I've ran a hybrid wing tee in the gun. I've ran the traditional wing tee at Tippecanoe because I felt like that's what was best for our kids. I've ran the spread. If you're a spread coach and you like to throw the ball around, I still think this clinic's for you, because I'm not just going to talk about wing tee things or triple things. What this clinic is about game planning and using the structure of the week to call plays effectively on a Friday night. I think that this can impact any football coach, whether they coach in the game, Division III, high school. Anybody can learn from what I'm having to say, and I really appreciate Coach Bandstra giving me the opportunity. So let's go ahead and get started. There's my name, Joel Derge. Obviously, in my Twitter handle, you can feel free to reach out to me on Twitter. Send me a direct message if you've got any questions or anything like that. Everybody essentially has a base offense, and I'm going to try to give you an analogy here. Your base offense is anything you see there in the white. Okay, you have all your run plays, your pass plays, your straight drop pass plays, your under center stuff, your shotgun stuff. Your base offense is huge, okay? Obviously, we know it doesn't want to be too big, but you can see there that there's a lot there. And basically, if I click the next slide, what you see there in the red is your game plan. You can't use all of these things that are in the outside. You can't use your entire game plan or your entire playbook for your game plan, but you want to make sure that your game plan fits within your offense and everything that you do to be able to be successful. Now, the perfect game plan would be, hey, everything we did in practice, we were able to run in a game. Everything that we did on Wednesday during the red zone period happened in a game, and we were very successful with that. Now, in a perfect world, that's what would happen. Everything you practice is what you ran in your game. A good game plan, you guys see here, is 80% of what we did in practice, we did in a game, and we were very, very successful doing it. Now, the section you see to the left here Okay, we didn't quite, you getting a third down, and we didn't practice it this week, but they're playing a lot more man coverage than we expected, and I think we should definitely run that play. It's a good game plan. Your players remember that play maybe from the previous week. Maybe you didn't practice it that week, but we've all been there. We've all called plays that we essentially haven't practiced in a while, and it's important that we try our best to make sure our game plans look like that, okay? Now, a bad game plan, you can see that 60% of the box to the left of the red rectangle, if you will, is, hey, we didn't practice very many plays that we ran on Friday night. And I can go into many years of studying the game, studying my own teams as a head coach, that we are obviously more successful with the plays we practiced. You guys all know that. It's certainly important that we look at those kinds of things and evaluate them in the off season. Now, an awful game plan is, hey, we're down 21-0 at halftime. I know we've never even looked at it to be in our playbook, but we got to try something, Coach. You've all had those conversations with somebody. Or, Coach, I know we haven't practiced it in 2 weeks, but that throwback screen would probably be pretty good to start the second half. There's a lot of things that can go wrong if things aren't practiced, but we've all been there. We've all been on teams that, we were superior and we won the game, and we've all probably been in a situation where we're inferior and lost the game. But the calm, cool, collective decisions that you make can help you have that perfect game plan, where everything that you practice during the week is what you called in the game. So, I don't have a lot of verbiage in this presentation, or a lot of slides that have words on them, but this is definitely the one that has the most. I plan to show a lot of game film, and hopefully you guys can learn a lot from being the visual things that you like to see, and I like to see when I do clinics. Specifically, I've been asked to do clinics a lot of times, and I've heard speakers talk about the dig route and how it should be made at the 12 yards, and maybe they have a 4-4 athlete, and that really wouldn't fit into our scheme, or they have a really good running quarterback and they run the triple option, and that might not fit in our scheme. But what I think I'm going to talk about today can help anybody and everybody, whether you are a spread downhill power run team, a spread team that likes to throw the ball 60% of the time. I really think what I can show you guys will help you. So the first bullet point there is decisions made in the cool, calm, collective time in the offense are much more efficient than when the clock is ticking Friday night. The most pressured situation you can be in is when there's 15 seconds left on the play clock and you still haven't signaled something in. Can you put yourself in a situation to be more successful by sitting down in the office on a Wednesday night? Hey, we're going to be in that 3rd and 7 at least 4 times a game. What are the plays that we can run during 3rd and 7 to help us be the most successful? I would be crazy if I didn't include my coaches, my assistant coaches, when I was a head coach, in some of these decision-making things. It's so easy for me to just call plays on Friday night and hope they work. And a lot of times that's how I did it early on in my coaching career. But I've worked with a lot of great coaches, a lot of great offensive line coaches, a lot of good running back coaches, and to not have their input would just be silly. Okay. Number 2 bullet point, it allows you to be versatile with a lot of different situations that can happen in a game. We all know that there's a lot of things that can happen in a game. 1st down, 2nd down, 3rd down, 4th down, 3rd and 3, 2nd and 4. We all know Huddle can organize these plays for us and things like that, but we want to make sure that we are versatile in those situations. And to use your coaches is just so important in that decision-making process. You want to do your homework and isolate situations and decide what will be best for that situation. Okay? So if you want to, let's just talk about 3rd and 3 for a second. 3rd and 3 is one of the most pivotal downs to a drive. Defenses that are bend, don't break want to make you snap the ball once again. Offenses don't want to be 3rd downs a lot. If you're having a successful game plan, You don't have to snap the ball out on third down. But 3rd and 3 is one of those opportunities that you can truly be 50-50 on. Am I going to run the ball here? Am I going to throw the ball here? Am I going to use play action pass? Am I going to just get in the gun and go straight drop back and throw a hitch? Isolate those situations so you can decide what's best for those situations. Saving time during practice, you can certainly do that by understanding that truly, let's talk about 3rd and 3, open field is only going to happen 2 times a game. So why practice 3rd and 3 and have 6 to 8 play calls for 3rd and 3 if you know it's only going to happen statistically twice a game? And I'll go into that in a little bit. 5th bullet point there is determine your run-pass ratio that you think's needed to win. Everybody has their philosophies and beliefs and things like that of how they want to be successful. One of my first golden rules to my football team was that we want to run the ball first and stop the run second. Those are our top 2 goals every single week. So teams knew we were a little bit run heavy, if you will. And you, from week to week, you can decide, okay, I want to be 60-40 this week, 70-30 this week. Maybe I want to be 50-50 with my ratio. This week, they got a big offensive line. We need to play action pass or screen them a little bit more. But you, on Saturday and Sunday in your coaches meeting, decide what you want your run pass ratio to be, and it will help you to be the most successful. The 6th bullet point, give your coaches an idea of what you may call before you call it. And there's just simply no guesswork. Like I mentioned, I've worked with a lot of great coaches that were former head coaches or current coordinators or in the past coordinators. And it's real important that you get their ideas in. For example, if you script your plays and your 7th play of the game is counter, and you really want to hit the counter play on them, and say you score in 6 plays, and that offensive line coach knows that you're probably going to call counter the first play of the next drive, that eliminates the guesswork for him. That allows those coaches to make good decisions. We can get the best players on the field. We were in a situation where we can't really platoon our team. So when we run counter, we want to have that guy at the left halfback position because he's a home run threat, and we really think this play will be good. So giving your coaches an idea of what you may call as the game progresses is important because, if that guard and that tackle aren't getting pressure on the 3 technique, it's going to be tough to run power or counter. And every coach can sit there and say, yep, I knew that wasn't going to work. But if while you're on offense and you score in 6 plays and you go on defense, you can talk about it with your offensive line coach. Coach, I really don't think that the counter will work because we're not getting a lot of pressure on or push on our gap schemes, and you can go into that and not call the counter. But we've been there where it's 2nd and 9, and the coach says, hey, I knew that wasn't going to work, and that's just not helpful. It would have been nice to know that beforehand, but so it just kind of eliminates some of the guesswork. The next bullet point, it allows your quarterback to get within a rhythm of the game. Football is a rhythmic game where the plays are coming in and out. The personnel groupings are coming in and out. The snap count is rhythmic. Okay, it allows your quarterback to get in the rhythm of the game, especially if you're a guy that wants to throw the ball a lot. It allows you to have your quarterback feel that rhythm on that 3rd and 3. That quarterback knows that, hey, we practiced this play action pass, this run play this week in practice, and I can be ready for those situations as the quarterback. It allows you, next bullet point, it allows you to use full formations and personnel to break your tendencies. If you're like me, you go into a game and, hey, I really want to run this concept, do this out of this formation and this and that, and you've got this wide idea of what you want to do, but you get into the game and you get into your habits, and it never gets ran out of that formation or that situation because it's rhythmic. You call plays and you just keep it rolling. I can give you an example. If it's a week 8, and the other coach has all that huddle information, and you do too, and you run maybe 2 tight ends. Okay, you get into 32 personnel, if you will, and you are 90% run in that personnel grouping, that's the situation that I'm going to sub in that personnel grouping, and I'm going to throw that play action pass. Because really, it doesn't matter if I'm in 22 personnel or 32 personnel. I want to make sure that I throw it to the flat on the right side where my quarterback's in the best situation. So you can break your tendencies within your formations and do a great job with that. Next bullet point, I'm not a great guy when it comes to calling special plays or trick plays or a certain situation. Sometimes, hey, Tuesday, Wednesday, we're going to rep those plays. But then on Friday night, early in my coaching career, they didn't get ran, and that was tough. And so we wasted time during practice. And going into a game, you're not going to probably have 4 or 5 trick plays. You're probably going to have 1 or 2, and you want to practice those plays. But situationally, make a decision, again, in the cool, calm, collective time of the office. When do we want to run that trick play? Is it the first play of the game? Is it when we get a third first down? Is it after a turnover? When do we want to take that shot? And you can situationally put yourself in a situation for that. And then just a quote here, live by the written word. Bill Walsh was big on that. I think he's one of the best play callers around, and I spelled Walsh wrong apparently. But, he was one of the great play callers that there was, and everybody knows him for the West Coast offense. He threw the ball a lot. But what he believed in, he wrote it down, and he stayed. If you study him, he stayed on his call sheet. He did a great job with the 49ers there in the early 90s or late 80s, if you will. So, I spent a lot of time in the offseason breaking down. Whoa, there we go. So I've spent a lot of time in the offseason breaking down the plays I've called and situations that I've been in, and I've also studied the college game and the NFL game. And I found out that, their games are longer. They have 15-minute quarters. But this is the most important slide, I think, to all you guys, is statistically, if you want to structure your game week and your practice plans, you need to understand how many times you're going to be isolated in these situations, okay? 1st and 10, you're going to be awarded or earned a 1st and 10 25 times a game. Okay, if you want to plan for your first half on Monday and Tuesday, the first half of the week, as you should, you need to plan for 13 plays or so. And you kind of ignore the run pass for now. It's not really important. Like I mentioned earlier, you set that however you want to, or whoever you're going to play to be successful. So on and so forth. Looking at the blue numbers, you get in a 2nd and medium, which is, for me, it's a 2nd and 3 to a 6. 7 times a game. You get into a 2nd and 7 plus 9 times a game. That means you get stuffed on first down. It happens a lot more than we think. A 2nd and 1 or 2. This kind of blew my mind before I studied it. You only get 1 snap a game where you're in a 2nd and 2 or a 2nd and 1. Obviously, you gained 8 or 9 yards and it had to be on first down. This is where I think as coaches we can really make an impact. If you are playing a team that's just better than you, on paper, if you will, or they're superior than you are, that's your chance to take a home run shot. That's your chance to put that special play in there. If you're playing a team that you feel like you're equal to, or they're inferior to your talents, just get the first down, and keep the chains moving. That's the situation I think as a coach you can really impact things. 3rd and 7 plus, again, I talked about it, wing T offense, but again, I studied college offenses. It's about 4.5. But 3rd and 7 plus for us, we only have it 3 times a game, 3.5 times a game. 3rd and 3 to 6, 4 times a game. And this was interesting to me. 3rd and 2 or 3rd and 1 only happens twice a game. If you double those odds, and it will happen, you'll break the tendencies, or you'll break the odds, where it'll happen 4 times in a game, and in the next game it happens 1 time. The next game, you're rolling on them and you're steamrolling things, and it's 0. And then the next game it'll be 5. But statistically, you're going to be in that 3rd and 2 or that 3rd and 1 2 times a game. And as you see there, I got situations for 2 run plays in that situation, and that play action pass if you follow my cursor there. So like I said, that's the situation you can break the tendency, if you will, to go to that play action pass. And then fourth down, again, as a head coach, I went for it 13 times in 2018, 12 times in 2017. I don't want to bore coaches with a bunch of numbers, but statistically, about 1.3 times a game, I went for it on fourth down. So I think you need a situation for 4th and inches, 4th and 2, 4th and 5, and 4th and 9 plus to be on your call sheet. And then breaking that down even more, and this is where games are won and lost, in my opinion, is the red zone. And how often do you practice the red zone? How often do coaches just? I've seen it. Do we just put the ball on the 50-yard line for team every single day and just run plays, or do you actually put it on the 20, the 17, the left hash, the right hash? Okay, I think that's where games are. The kids can be prepared for situations, and I think that's where games are won and lost. So looking at first down again in the blue, it happens 4 times a game. Second down 3 times a game. 3rd and 7 plus, it only happens 1 time a game. And again, if you double those odds, I think you should have a straight drop pass for that and maybe a draw. And you can coordinate the score depending on what play you want to call. On 3rd and 2 minus, it's only going to happen 1 time a game in the red zone. If you play it, one of the teams that I coached, you basically knew as a defensive coordinator that probably belly was coming or power was coming. And I think it's important that I think you guys know this, you give it to your best player. If you got a really good fullback, we gave the belly a lot. If we got a really good halfback, we gave power a lot. And there's so many ways to run belly. Actually, there's 4 different ways to block it. It's a lot like teams run inside zone split at times. You can run it to the tight end side. You can run it to the spread inside. You can run it with motion, without motion. You can run it to a 3-back set. You can run it to a 3-back set with a tight end. There's just so obviously we've all been there as coaches where the coach on the other side of the field going, here comes belly, here comes belly. We've all been there, right? And I've heard it. We're running belly and they're calling out belly. But I just believe that you do what you do well, okay? I heard Brad Stevens, obviously a basketball coach for the Celtics, talk about the NCAA tournament. It's just a quick analogy for you guys. And he talked about, if they won on Thursday, in 36 hours they played again on Saturday. And they didn't have time to prepare as much for the team they were playing against. They just needed to prepare and do what they did well. You can agree or disagree, but we all have things that we do well, and we want to try to continue to perfect those things. Mariano Rivera, if he had a 3-2 count in a playoff game, statistically 91% of the time, he threw that cutter low and away. He did what he did well, and he made a career out of it. So 3rd and 2 or less, and we're in the red zone, and you're playing a team that I was the coach of, we're going to run it every single time, and it was over 80% successful rate. If I go back to talking about the open field study, you can see the run pass, how you want to set it up. Okay, if you want to set up your first half in the 1st and 10 section, I want 8 of those plays to be run plays. I want 5 of them to be pass plays. And I would ask my coordinator to specifically script those plays for practice periods, especially on Monday and Tuesday. If I go down to the 3rd and 7 section down here, okay, I want it as a coach, if we have the lead and it's 3rd and 7 and it's the 3rd quarter, we at least want to have a run play on there that we can go to. 3rd and 7 play action passes aren't the most successful play calls, if you will, but they can be in certain situations, especially if you're running the ball effectively. And then 2 straight drop passes for those kinds of situations. And then again, I kind of talked about the third down and 2 or 1 section already, but you can specifically and use your analytics to put yourselves in situations to be very, very successful. And I kind of already talked about this slide, but I can give you a situation one time where if we look at this section right here, I actually had a coach in week 2 one year. He was my offensive coordinator. His wife was pregnant, and they actually, had a baby the night of the game, and he wasn't able to come. And so, hopefully if you're using your coaches, he was at all 4 days of practice, but if you're using your coaches effectively, we had another coach call the plays that night, and we actually got into the 3rd and 3 to 6 2 times. Okay, on the opening drive, we got into a 3rd and 6, and we were running the ball really, really effectively, and we used that one play action pass, and it was a touchdown. It was a great play call, but it was a collective decision. Later in the game, we were actually up 24-7. We got back into the red zone, and the coach called the exact same play, the play action pass. And the players were a little bit slow getting lined up and things like that. And I actually had to burn a timeout. We talked about it in the timeout. Hey, we're up 24-7. And this the run play we had in that section, had been working all night long. And this would be a great opportunity for us to maybe center the ball and kick field goal if we need to. But we also feel like it'd be a high success rate for us to pick up the first down. And it was 3rd and 6, and it was on the 17-yard line, and the kid broke it for a touchdown. And so the plays that we called in that 3rd and 3 yards to 6 yards, we called both of them that night, and they both ended up being touchdowns. And they were called by someone who wasn't the coordinator. It just kind of shows how these things can actually work. And I'm going to show some game film of that here in a little bit. This is how I broke it down. I'm not going to bore you guys with this, but basically I just looked at every single game that we played, and I broke it down to how many times those situations happened in a game. As I mentioned, 3rd and 1, happened 5 times one game and 2 times the next, and 0 times in other situations. But do the study yourself. Do the work now that you have the time, so you can be ready for when the season comes. And then this is my call sheet. I'm not planning to send this to anybody. I know that you can look at it and things like that, but basically everything I just said there is systematically put onto a call sheet. These are my openers. These are those 8 runs, those 2 play action passes, those 2 straight drop passes, that screenplay that I plan on running. And this is the left hash, and this is the right hash. Okay, and the hash is important because if you're running a perimeter play, you probably want to run it to the field. If you're running an off-tackle play, you probably want to run it to the boundary. And you can systematically make sure that you don't have that many tendencies by being able to do that. Now, you're going to have some. We all do. But it's important that you sit down, again, in the calm, the collective part of your office, and decide with your coaches what you plan to do. In the light green there is the play action passes. In the red is the straight drop passes. In the blue is my screens. And then the special play is labeled there. And that's kind of how it is throughout the entire call sheet, where I color code things. So, if I feel like on 3rd and 7 plus, I want to run that straight drop pass, I don't even look at things that are black or green. I can use my eyes and go right to what I need to see, and not have that clock tick on Friday night when those fans are cheering and the bands are playing and everything like that. I can make calm, cool decisions, and it kind of really helps me relax in the game. You see the 2nd mediums are labeled here. The 2nd and 8 pluses or 2nd and 7 pluses are in the bottom left-hand corner. And then my 2nd and shorts are down here. Again, it's only going to happen one time a game. So have a get it and have a take a shot, and just decide what you want to do depending on the score, the time, and all of those good things. Here's that 3rd and short section that we have. Not doing a great job of drawing and huddle here, but for me, I want 2 runs and I want 1 play action pass. And what I kind of mentioned in the opening there was, going tight personnel and throwing the pass that you haven't ran the entire season. You've ran that play, you ran that philosophy or that concept, but you just haven't ran it out of that formation and practice it, obviously, throughout the week. And I'll kind of go through that. Here's my 4th downs, 4th and inches in the middle. 4th and 2, 4th and 5, 4th and 9. Have a section for that. This is kind of a section here and backed up where I didn't really talk about, but obviously it's kind of a special situation where you want to get out of the shadows of your own goalpost and get a couple first downs and get the chains moving a little bit. It's okay to have your 1st and 10 backed up play be the exact same as your 3rd and 2 middle of the field play. If you feel like belly or ISO or power or counter is your best play to get out of to get the chains moving on third and short or backed up into your own end zone, the same play can be in both sections, and you'll kind of see that as we go on. The red zone here is on the right. You can see there's only 4 plays for first down, and for the left hash, 4 plays for the right. They're the same play, obviously, just flipped. Second down, there's 3, and then more specifically, what I want to do on third down and how I want to do it. Fourth down for the red zone, and then, ironically, 4th and 3+ is typically, is exactly the play you would run for a 2-point conversion. Because if you get in a 4th and 3, it's exactly like, going for it on going for 2. Clock management chart that we all have, our 2-point chart, is all there. But you can see how it's systematic, it's analytics, it's not just guesswork. And I'm going to show you how we organize the practice week through that. All right, so this is something that I give the offensive coordinator, on Saturday. If you look at the 3rd and 2 section that I kind of mentioned, belly or power, what do we want to do in that situation this week? Do we want to call belly or do we want to call power? And then, we circle belly. We like belly. Okay, maybe they shade the nose to the tight end and we want to run belly to the spread inside. Or they do a good job of playing the tight side, so let's run power to the wide receiver side. Whatever it may be, isolate that situation and put yourself in a situation to be the most successful. And I have that for every single situation. For example, one more example, in the red zone, do you want to go jet or do we want to run rocket? It's essentially the same play, but how do we want to do it and when do we want to do it? And so we go through that on Saturday with the offensive coordinator. So working backwards throughout the week of practice, you kind of look here on Thursday that we're going to go through our run-through scripts. On Thursday, the first thing we did when I was the head coach is we kind of went on trash cans or we went on shields and we did our run-through script. And you see here on the left side, you got your 6 run plays. In the black, exactly what was on that call sheet. That was in the upper left-hand corner of that call sheet. And you really want to go through, hey, how are we going to call those first 10 plays? I always, when I was the play caller or the offensive coordinator, I kind of designated a defensive coach, just put the ball in the hash. If our first play of the game is rip jet right, probably going to be on the right hash the next play, and the next play is probably going to be this one. And if it's power right into the boundary, we're probably still going to be on the hash. So we kind of worked through those as practice went on. As I mentioned, second and mediums happen a lot. So you got to be prepared that obviously that defense is trying to stuff you. So you're going to be in 2nd and 8+ a lot. And you need to be ready for those situations. I think everybody on Thursday does about 10 to 15 minutes of just pass plays on air. And we want to make sure that the plays that are on the call sheet are obviously what we practice on Thursday. Here in the green are all those play action passes that we have on the call sheet in different situations. Some are in the same situation. And then we have that screen that we plan on using in that series as well. And then over here, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12 are the red plays that are just straight drop passes that we need to use on those 3rd and 6s, 3rd and 4, when we need to throw a hitch or whatever it may be, or we want to take a shot in that situation. We have to make sure as coaches that we prepare our players, and it's not just guesswork on Friday night. So on Thursday, when we actually get to team, this is what I have my offensive coordinator fill out for us. Okay, it's basically a 20-play script that should take approximately 15 minutes, and the offense coordinator will fill it out. He'll also fill out what he wants the defense to be in and what he wants the defensive scout coaches to do. And we will start the ball on the -10 and try to drive it 90 yards to score. Obviously, we will score because that's what we plan on doing. But, we want to put them in all kinds of situations that will happen on Friday night, not just for the offensive coaches, but for the players. So the players have that rhythmic feel of what play is going to come in on 3rd and 3, what play is going to come in on 4th and inches. So let's take a look at the down and distance section. You can change this week to week, but obviously you're going to be, like I said, mention those first downs. You're going to be in a lot of those. But put yourselves in that 3rd and 4, that 3rd and 6, that 3rd and 8, that 3rd and 3. Put yourselves in all those 3rd down situations and run the plays that you plan to practice, that you ran in practice, that you plan to do in a game. As you see, we matriculate the ball. We have 90 yards to score, and we move it down the field. We do call punt as kind of our mock game. And on the 10th play, we call it the punt team, and we just fake it. It's good. Obviously, it's on air, but we just fake it on the negative 43-yard line, and we just put the ball back on the 30. And this is the play 11. Every single week, we could work on that special play that we plan to use. Maybe it's after a turnover. Maybe it's after 3 first downs. Again, you decide what you want to do, but you can script that right in there. And then that 3rd and 3, the 3rd and 3 that I mentioned right here, it can be, if you notice, it's the exact same play that we're running up here, backed up. We're running belly to the right. Well, on 3rd and 3, we're running belly to the left. So we can, you're not going to spend a half hour on team every Thursday, but we can get both bellies in. We're going to do what we do well, and we're going to practice both of those situations. We get into the 4th and 1, we're going to run the wedge, so on and so forth. The first down plays are there in the red, and and everything that you do in the red zone that during that period should be on the call sheet, and I can't stress that enough. Then we're going to score, and we're going to go for 2. We're going to practice what we are going to call on the 2-point conversion if we have that situation. I coached an entire season one time that we never ran a 2-point play during the season. That season we went 7-3, but it was just crazy. We never ran a 2-point play. I've coached in other seasons where I ran 3 or 4. But just if your players are prepared, they'll be ready for that situation. By week 7, when you send in the 2-point play during practice, the wide receiver kind of laughs at you because he kind of knows what's coming. And that's the whole point of this: get the players in a rhythm. After play 18, which is that 2-point play, we flip the ball over and we practice. Hey, it's 3rd and 11, game's on the line. There's 30 seconds left. What play are we going to call on that 3rd and 11? And we rep it, and then we rep what our last play of the game is, and that is your trick play towards the end of the game where you have 75 yards to go and you can't throw that Hail Mary. What play are you going to run there? We run that every Thursday. So then going backwards in the week, red zone period is Wednesday. I won't beat this to a dead horse, but basically on Wednesday, we practice all of those red zone situations that we plan to do during the week. I think it's good to kind of stop here and think about, as you notice, the call sheet starts to fill itself out throughout the week. On Wednesday night, when you go home, you just practiced all your red zone stuff. So start to fill out the call sheet. As I mentioned earlier, Monday and Tuesday were times that you're kind of preparing for that first half and that first and down and that second down thing, and what may happen during the game. And you just notice that the play call sheet, you don't have to make it on Friday morning or Friday during your plan period. It makes itself throughout the week if you take the time to do this with a systematic approach. And then this is just basically what we do throughout the week of practice. I'm not going to spend a lot of time on this other than basically let's just look at team really quick. On Monday during team, in the bottom left-hand corner, we're going to work on our first down plays and our second and medium plays. That offensive coordinator's got to be ready for those situations on Monday. Why? Because we've already talked about it. They're going to happen 25 times a game. We got to be ready for those situations. Our players have got to know what plays we're going to call on 1st and 10 and 2nd and medium. If you look at Tuesday, that's a big 3rd down, medium, and long day. Okay? We're going to spend 2 days specifically on what plays we want to call on 3rd down. And so we are going to rep those plays 3rd and medium, 3rd and long on Tuesday. And then Wednesday, I've kind of already talked about it. We're going to spend more time on 3rd downs. We're going to have the defense stunt blitz at us a little bit more. We're going to run 5 minutes of the special plays. Again, you might have a reverse and you might have a flea flicker that week. Practice those plays during that time. And then we're going to go down into the red zone and the goal line situations on Wednesday. And then Thursday, I know I've already talked about, but again, We're going to work backed up. We're going to work open field, red zone, 2-point play. We're going to work on the last play of the game if we need to use it. And then during our mock game, we'll also dab into the 2-minute drill, the 4-minute drill, and we're going to practice ending Thursday, every single Thursday, with taking a knee. What we're going to do now is look into how all of that formulates into what we do on game day. Now, I'll date some of these back all the way to 2014 when I was just an offensive coordinator. You'll see some of the plays where I was the head coach. And there are times where I got off script and did things early on. But towards 2018, I started implementing more and more of this game plan structure, if you will, and became more structured in things that I do. So, again, these films are basically the offenses that I've designed or coordinated. Some of them are wing T, some of them are spread T. But I'm going to systematically just tell you basically what was going through my head at the time, how I called the plays, why I called the plays, essentially what our game plan was going into these games. If you look where I paused this first play, this is the first play of the game against Greenville. Our game plan was to run to the spread inside, the wide receiver side, not to the tight end side, but the spread inside. We believed that they were going to bring down a strong safety to our tight side based on the film we'd seen the year before. Now, any coach can do this. And again, triple option, spread, wing T. I apologize if I'm forgetting some things out there, but you guys get the idea. We're going to shift from a 2x2 shotgun, and I apologize, this is where the cameraman started it, but you can see that we are in a 2x2 formation, and we are going to shift down to our base wing formation, and we are just going to attack the defense with a simple jet sweep to the spread and flank. We felt like that they were going to bring down this is the first play of the game, that they're going to bring down that strong safety. I also offset the fullback to account for the free safety. And we did a really nice job of gaining about, 15, 20 yards there on first down. Again, it's nice to not have to go to that second down call sheet. We get a nice first down, and another opener we had for that game was to hit them with the off-tackle belly. We're faking the jet sweep. We're hitting them up inside C-gap area, and we get a nice gain on belly. Now, as I mentioned, as a young offensive coordinator, I did not have this plan situation in place where I kind of used my game plan structure, but I just flipped the plays. I knew that what we were doing was working, so we hit them with another jet sweep to the spread and flank. You notice the strong safety again comes down to the tight end side. So right then and there, from the third play of the game, we knew, hey, put the tight end to the boundary. They're defending our formation, not the field. They're defending our formation. So let's put the tight end to the boundary, and let's continue to sweep them to the outside. So things are going well. You got 3 plays and 3 first downs. Those are when things are going well, and it obviously won't go that well all the time. But we're going to go back to running belly to the spread inside, and they stuff us pretty good there. We got about 3 yards. Now, going off the call sheet, I kind of went back onto the script. Now, we are on the 19-yard line here, but I don't really consider that red zone quite just yet. Some coaches do, obviously, telecasters do, and things like that. But we have prepared that, hey, let's put the tight end to the boundary, and we want to use that play action pass. When do we want to use it? About the third first down. And so we went to that in this situation where we faked the jet sweep to the spread inside. We faked the belly to the spread inside, and we hit one of our best players in the flat there for a nice pickup, another first down. Okay? So, again, isolate your situations. Now, we're on the 6-yard line. We knew, based upon, everybody's got their tendencies. I've got my tendencies. But when the ball gets inside the 10-yard line, they're going to drop down a linebacker and play a 7-man front. Well, 7-man front, not good for trap. It's not good for belly. It's not good for power. So we ended up running jet sweep into our own bench and did a nice job of sweeping to the outside, breaking a tackle or two, and getting into the end zone. Okay, 5 plays, touchdown. It's not all that's nice and things like that. The very next week we played, I heard Coach Manson talk about 70 70 and sunny a lot, and I agree with him wholeheartedly. It's not like that for offensive coaches. And so things were going well the week before, but the next week we really struggled offensively, especially in the second and third quarter. But we get into this game where we play a Bell Fountain team, and what they did is they brought their strong safety and they put him to the wide receiver side. Okay, the very flip of what the other team had done. Okay, this is actually our tight end over here, and this is their free safety. So what we did, again, first play of the game, we went to this 2-by-2 look, and we shifted into our main wing T play, our main wing T formation. Now, this is one of the worst play calls I could have called. I called a play action pass into a guy that's sitting in the flat already when we're trying to throw to the flat. I ran this guy deep on a 8-yard cushion. Not a great play call. Okay, but it's the first play of the game. We thought going this way would be the best way to go, and we ran the play action pass. You can see that the flat defender runs with the flat route, and the deep route is well cushioned, and really nobody's open except for the tight end who's always open. But quarterback just didn't see him, and it's also raining. It's hard to see that, but it's raining pretty hard. So first play of the game, quarterback makes a great decision to take a rollout pass and turn it into a 1 or 2 yard gain. Now, I talked about eliminating the guesswork. We actually went 3 and out. Okay, in the very next drive, we were able to go off script a little bit, and we were able to go back to that 2-by-2 formation that we had already used and put that strong safety into the boundary, and we were able to RPO to the best player on the field, a bubble screen. We filled out here. They had one and like a half a guy who was kind of in the middle of the field. We are faking the buck sweep to the boundary, throwing the bubble to the field, and we're using our speed to break a tackle there and score. Now, had we not shifted, this is the previous drive, had we not shifted and shown our hand at the very last minute, we would have not known how they would line up to this play. So have a systematic approach of how you want to do that. We knew we were going to go to this bubble screen, maybe play 8 or play 9, but we were able to bump it up on the script and move it to play 4 when we got the ball back. Now, we scored here, but we were really struggling to move the ball in this game, and this was a big play for us. All right, so moving on, Kenton Ridge game in 2015. And again, try to show you exactly what was going through my mind as the play caller, and have you join along and just think along with me. Okay, the 1st and 10 to open the game. We really felt like we again needed to run to the wide receiver side because this defensive tackle was a very good player for them. So we wanted to avoid him at all costs. If we were going to run at him, we wanted to trap him or try to run around him, but we didn't want to run power or belly at him, if you will. So the first play of the game, we came out with just simply running no motion belly, not jet motion belly, but no motion belly to the wide receiver side. Okay, and then some of these plays won't be fancy and big gains like the Greenville game that we had, but we do move the ball and end up scoring. Now, this is something I would suggest for any coach, whether it's wing T, triple option, spread, whatever you will, is try to show your hand as late as you can. Okay, I call this scramble. I didn't invent it or anything, but show your formation for the least amount of time you can. If you're a spread coach, go 5 wide, put your running back out at the far guy and motion him to the backfield to a 3-by-1. Show your hand the least amount you can so that you can, this is very easy to do, so that you can gain an advantage offensively. And now, second play of the game, we hit him with a jet sweep to the boundary. Again, it was something that was on our second medium play call sheet. And we got ourselves into a 3rd down and 1 on the very opening drive of the game. Now, if you remember going back to my previous slides, 3rd and 1, 3rd and 2 only happens twice a game. But we're already in it to open the drive. Now, again, we want to run away from the big fella. We just simply call belly to the other side and gain 2 yards and get the 1st down. Okay, we get another 1st down. We're awarded a 1st down, if you will. The next time we get the ball, we want to unbalance them. See how they adjust to unbalance. We put our Y there and our X here. Okay, well, they did a nice job adjusting by bringing the strong safety down. But we're using a lot of formations to diversify what we're trying to do. Using a lot of formations to be able to see what the defense is going to do based upon what we give them. Now, again, I mentioned trap was one of the plays we wanted to run at the big guy, but he kind of stuffed it up in there. He's a good player, but we do get 5 yards. The fullback did a nice job pushing the pile, if you will. Second and medium. Okay, again, you've seen the second mediums that came up a lot. Here's our counter. Okay, the O-line coach knew that the counter play would be a play that we would use. He said it would be great because look at the way these safeties and the linebackers are moving to jet motion, and he thought the counter would be a great play. So on the fifth play of the drive for that game was the counter. Did a nice job moving the chains there. We're awarded a first down. We go back to one of those jet sweeps that we've called on first down many times. Get some positive yardage. You're thinking along with me. Second and down. Okay, here's a good one for all play callers. Put your unbalance into the boundary. See if they're going to adjust down to it. They do. Okay, now watch the secondary when we trade the tight end. Are they defending our formation or are they defending the field? Right now we know within the first drive of the game that they are going to defend our formation. Okay? And this is just a simple. We're going to try to hit them off tackle and avoid the big guy. So we're gonna use that trade and that shift to try to offset them, if you will. You see, there was a penalty at the end of that play which awarded us to move the ball up. So now we are in the red zone. Didn't quite mention this, but we felt like our offensive line was a little bit better than their front seven. So you haven't seen a pass yet, and in this drive, and we really didn't run too many passes in the first half. Again, it was about 42 degrees, week 10, but you see us hit a belly off tackle, see us hit another belly to the other side. That actually gets us into a third and two in the red zone. If you remember, that's only going to happen one time in an entire game. And our players knew that one of our best players was our left halfback. We're gonna hit him with power. We're gonna hit him with power here. Off tackle. Now, I made the mistake of running it right at the big guy, and he did a nice job of stuffing it. But our players knew, fourth down, we are not going to kick a field goal, especially when we're on the 5-yard line. Our players stayed on the field. They didn't look to the sidelines for the field goal. We were actually able to signal this play in pretty quickly, and we ended up with a tight end, a wing, a fullback, and a wide receiver all on the same side. And we're giving the ball. There's no guesswork to it. We're giving the ball to our best player on 4th and 1 to the field and trying to let him go make a play. It was only 4th and 1, and he did a nice job making a play for us and getting in the end zone. And we were really fortunate for that. So moving on, a couple more teams that we played in the opening drive of those games. Here's Shawnee in 2016. This game was played on Thursday Night Lights, and there's a big game for us, a big rivalry game for us. We start the game with just simple belly double ISO. Both wingbacks fold up inside, and we get 4 yards. Second down, we hit them with a jet. Not able to get outside. They do a nice job defending jet. They always have. Get into that 3rd and 1 again. Okay, the 3rd and 2 minus. As we mentioned it's not going to happen very often, but you can see that belly's coming. And we kind of try to hit them with a wind-back belly there where we're hitting the backside A-gap, if you will. We did a nice job over pursuing at times, and we actually scored on that later. But we're moving the chains, and we're running a trap here. Things aren't that flashy, but our players were able to really know exactly what we were going to call and when we were going to call it. Now, this is something that we worked on really honestly since July, was this big 4-man unbalanced line with a wingback, with a guard and tackle on the backside. And we had never shown this ever in the history of me being the offensive play caller. And we were actually going to put our fullback in a halfback for this play. I'll show you the next play where they kind of move around. But this was our 2nd and 7 play call on our opening drive. And you can see that the fullback did not hit the hole he should have hit. Okay. And we were so confident that this play would work, and our players were confident in it, that we actually called the exact same play the very next play. It's okay to do that at times. You can get off script here and there. But we're actually going to shift into it now and run the exact same play. And after the shift, it's the same formation. And what I want you to watch is you can do this watch the 2 running backs back here. Show your hand the least amount you can. They actually flip as the offensive linemen flip. And we're going to give the ball to our best player, hopefully behind our best blocker, to their weakest defender. And you see us run the buck sweep. He hits it a gap wider, and we get a big play out of it. And we move the chains there on 3rd and 6, where we actually called the exact same play that we did. Now, the chains are moving. We've gotten 2 first downs. I like to use tempo if I can. And I do, as we kind of joked about in the opening, I like to run the jet sweep. Here's a jet sweep that we get to the perimeter. We gain about 20 yards on. And now we're using tempo. We're trying to go as fast as we can. We're going to get back to that big set and run off tackle. And now we are essentially in the red zone. And we have this exact play scripted in the opening and in the red zone. And you can see we actually called this play 4 times on the opening drive to help us get in the end zone, something we had never really shown, but it fit in the framework of our offense. It fit in as a buck sweep play, and we really felt that it would be successful, and we continued to call it, especially on the opening drive before they could make an adjustment. Fairborn in 2016, we were awarded the ball here on the 35-yard line, and we started the game with a jet sweep, tried to unbalance them and try to get to the perimeter. On 2nd down, we went with a belly, so we're kind of flip-flopping those 2 play calls. When you start with a jet, next is a belly. Now, you notice we're running belly, but we're doing it at a different formation. There's no motion to it. The wing backs are already over on this side. So, yeah, you might know belly's coming, but we're going to try to do what we do well, kind of what I said off of Brad Stevens and Mariano Rivera. Do what you do well. We're going to do the best we can doing that. Here is a belly option play that we get to the edge on. And so now we are in the red zone. So we're going to go to that red zone part of the call sheet. We have that play action pass that we want to use right when we kind of get in the red zone on 1st down. We haven't thrown the ball yet, so this is a great opportunity to call that play action pass. Unfortunately, incomplete. Okay, on 2nd down, try to go up inside. Okay, and we get a few yards. I'm going to try to move this along. Something happened here where a play didn't quite come over. This is a 2nd down play as well. So, hey, we talked about, I'm going to try to pause it. The 3rd and 7 in the red zone is going to happen 1 time a game. Okay? And this is the opening drive. The run game has been shut down pretty well by the Skyhawks Fairborn. That, hey, we need to throw the ball here on 3rd and 7, use that play action pass. And as I mentioned earlier, when we're in the red zone, our quarterback's looking for that tight end a lot of the time. And they covered it pretty well, but our players are ready for that situation. Tight end did a nice job catching the ball and getting in the end zone. But it just goes to show you that if you stay on your script and you run the plays that you talk about in the calm, cool collective of your office and with your coaches, you'll be a lot more successful. The next year when we played Fairborn, we had some of the same plays, the same ideas that we wanted to run. We started the game with a belly rather than a jet, and then the second play was a jet. So it wasn't really a secret what we were trying to do. We were just doing what we wanted to do, and we were trying to do it pretty well. And we played some really good games against Fairborn over the years that have came down to the last minute or so. A very good team, and they're on the rise. But this is kind of interesting. You get in your 2nd and 9, your 2nd down in the red zone. We're calling that belly play that we've been pretty successful with. A funny story about this one is, you see on the side there, it's 3rd and 3, and we tried to get them to jump off sides, try to gain some yards. But as a coach in the play call on the sidelines, a lot of the times, If you don't get the information from the press box of what yard line the play is actually on, it can be important that you get that, because when they jumped off sides, I thought in my mind, oh, we got the first down. But you guys know it's half the distance to the goal. And so when I look on my call sheet for those goal line plays or those 3rd and 1 plays in the red zone, I actually went into my heavy package, and it didn't matter if it was 3rd and 1 or 1st and goal on the 3. We were going to call essentially the same play and try to give the ball off tackle power to our best player. And a funny story, I thought it was 1st and goal, but it was 3rd and 1. But I probably would have called the exact same play no matter what, depending on the ball being on the 3-yard line. So I kind of talked about it. Now the defense went out and played and did their thing. But the 7th play of our call sheet of our openers or our first down plays was that counter. And the offensive line coach talked to me as we were playing defense. He said, "Hey, coach, they're really playing that jet hard. I think the counter will be good here." So it's real important that you take the guesswork out of it. We got our best halfback in at left halfback. We got our best right tackle in to down block. When we get, we got to rotate guys. But we were able to hit him with the counter here, and he was able to make the safety miss and outrun some of the guys on the backside. But taking the guesswork out of it, hey, coach, you think the counter will work the next drive? I know you're going to call it pretty soon. Yeah, hey, let's do it on first down, and that helped us be successful in that situation. I'm going to skip this game for the sake of time. I could do this all night long, but I really know that these kinds of what I'll do is go down here to the red zone. This is a 3rd and 9 in the red zone. We on the opening drive, we had a long way to go. We called a jet sweep here to get us into that 4th and 3. Now, a lot of times I see the Saturdays and even Sundays, critical 4th and 3, and there's some confusion on the headsets of what they want to do and things like that. I can tell you that we didn't even huddle. Obviously, being the head coach and the offensive coordinator helps because you kind of know what you want to do. But it's 4th and 3. Let's call our 2-point play. Let's call our 2-point play and see what happens. If it doesn't work, it doesn't work. But we were prepared for a 4th and 3 in the red zone. It's on our call sheet. Let's do it, and let's live with it, whatever happens. Again, I talked about this. The people play their strong safety down a lot to us. He's over here. We put the tight end to the field now to put him in the boundary to try and high-low the corner with a play-action pass. And we try to throw the tight end here and got fortunate enough to get a penalty called. But that was just important that we didn't waste a timeout in that situation because we needed that timeout later. And we ended up the quarter switches, and we ended up scoring on, hey, we saw this play earlier in the Kenton Ridge game where we just try to sweep the ball to the outside. But it's just important that you don't waste timeouts by things you probably should have been talking about on Wednesday night and Tuesday night and so on and so forth. Now, this is my last season as the head coach. We went into a game against Northmont where we were definitely the inferior team. We were actually the smallest Division III school in the state of Ohio. We played Northmont, who's a Division I team, very good Division I team, and don't want to belittle our own players because love those kids. But, we were definitely at a disadvantage. And we did a nice job of actually turning them over on a third and 10 and getting the ball here at midfield. And you can kind of see that how I've evolved as a play caller, and this systematic approach has really worked over the years. We knew we couldn't run around this Northmont team with those jet sweeps. We had to hit them inside. Even though they were bigger than us, we had to use those double teams. And on this opening drive, we actually score. We're going to open up with that 4-man surface here, the 4-man over here, and we're going to run power off tackle. Do a nice job of, can't quite remember if we got the first down there. It looks like we did. So then we go unbalanced, and we run trap to the 3 technique. again, we're not going to try to run around these guys. We're going to try to go right at them. And we do a nice job of trapping the 3 technique and falling forward. Okay. We get into a 2nd and 1. How are they going to react to a trade? And we're going to throw our formation into the boundary. How are they going to react to that? Well, they still have a D end, a backer, and a corner all outside of our tackle. Okay. So we kind of know those things. Huddle sidelines helps with those things, but we're able to gain a lot of information on what they're going to do. The 4th play of the game, this again was scripted for us to try to hit the boundary against these guys. Slide motion belly. Okay, trying to go right at them. Now we get down to the 19, as I mentioned. It's not quite the red zone, so we're not going to get off script just yet and look at our red zone sheet. We're going to stay with the 5th play of the game, which was a play action pass. Now, we actually called this great. You saw some times where I called some crappy play action passes, but we actually caught them in a blitz where they were bringing I assume the flat defender, okay, and we were able to pick up the blitz and slip our halfback out for a play action pass against them. The good timing of the play action pass and when to use it. And we get down in the red zone. So I went to the end zone shots for these just because you can see it a little bit better. But we actually have our X receiver over here. So you can see they have 3 guys out there defending essentially just our tackle once that guy goes in motion. So we really wanted to hit the boundary with those guys. And again, go at them. No jet sweeps. We want to go right at them. And we were pretty successful doing that on the opening drive. Here we go again. Slide motion belly. Again, these are right off the red zone call sheets. We felt like in the field, run wedge. We ended up losing this game, but I think it's a testimony to how we systematically went throughout the week of calling plays, trying to be successful in everything we were doing, and ended up scoring on them. I'm going to go through just one more thing. I'll skip through this for the sake of time and talk a little bit about when you get down into the red zone, because I firmly believe that the game is won and lost in the red zone. There's bend don't break defenses that start to light you up with blitzes and things like that, and you got to have a plan when you get down into the red zone. Here, the ball's on the 22, which, as I mentioned, I don't consider the red zone just yet, and I think most people would agree with that, but we're playing a really, really good team here. And there's some teams out there that we get 4 plays, we're probably not going to get a first down on them, especially in the red zone. So have a time when you're going to call those trick plays or those nuances or whatever it may be. If we got down into the red zone on first down, we kind of wanted to go with this and just try to take it, not quite a shot on them, but just kind of a throwback off the belly pass to the wingback on the other side. And that really was successful for us. Here again's that Kent Ridge film. We're getting that 3rd and 7. And just the timing of calling the passes, the play action passes is so important. Here again is the team that was very good against the run and using those play action passes. If you get the ball on the 9-yard line and it's first down, it's going to be very difficult to run 4 run plays at them. And you can't go run, pass, and throw on 3rd down and always be successful. You got to have the good timing of it. And here you see that we're able to kind of hit them with the throwback once again in a different season. And then just the timing of them. There's really only 1 or 2 more clips here. But they all seem to work as long as you do them right. Now, this is my last season as the head coach. We lost this game, and this is my last clip. We called this play at the right time, and we see the tight end crossing the field. The quarterback had to throw it a little bit sooner than he wanted to, but you see that the opening of the tight end was there, and the timing of the play called by the offensive coordinator was just perfect for that situation. In conclusion, guys, I really hope that what I talked about today is is going to impact you, whether you are a shotgun team, an under center team, a triple option team. Even if you're a defensive coach, you can think about, hey, I'm not going to practice man coverage so much because we only run it 20% of the game. I'm going to work on it 20% of my practice or whatnot. And so just thinking of systematic way of going about your week and things like that. I had my Twitter handle up there. Not sure if I can. There it is. You're welcome to reach out to me if you'd like to through Twitter. I'll give you my phone number if you reach out to me, but I'm not going to put it on the internet. If you ever want to text or even Zoom or anything like that, I'd love to meet up with you and talk. And I truly believe that what I talked about today can help anybody at any level, whether it's college. I don't really think any NFL coaches will be listening to this, but high school level, Pee Wee level, have a systematic approach to what you're doing, how you're doing it, and it'll help you be successful in the long run because your kids deserve it.